Hey, this is the Teatime Book Club. I am Earl Grey.
I'm Oolong.
I'm Jasmine.
And we have a special guest with us here today.
Hi, I'm Ginger.
All right. So, this is a special guest episode. Okay, so, Ginger, what would you like to talk about with us today?
I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about?
Well, we can do a interview to kind of get to know about you.
Yeah,
and then we can also, if you have a book that you want to tell us about, that's also a possibility, or we could do both.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can start off with I can tell you a little about myself, and then I do have a specific book I would be happy to talk about, which we can reveal later.
Awesome. Okay. So, Ginger, so I know a lot of our listeners on this podcast are of the teen demographic, and so school can be stressful, anxiety can be stressful. I mean, anxiety is stress. But just tell us, what brings you the most anxiety?
Well, I mean, a lot of the things that can...
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
should we
continue.
pause? Okay. A lot of the things that bring me in anxiety is sometimes, so I'm a hard worker and I like sometimes adding a bit too much onto my workload, and so I do a lot of extracurriculars and
just for context, Gingy does volleyball, theater, multiple
Not
musical
that much volleyball.
multiple musical productions per year. Also does like she does like a math thing and like an insane amount of schoolwork. You put work into every essay.
Homework from her after-school math thing?
And homework from regular math.
Yeah, I do. So I do a lot of things. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for that. Tell me, what's your favorite subject in school, or how does middle school feel to you?
So for me, my favorite subject in school, well, my favorite core class, I like science a lot this year, especially because we have a really good science teacher, and I like doing a lot of hands-on experiments, and we're doing a lot of that, so that's really fun. But I also do enjoy math.
That's a first.
Like Jasmine said, I do an extracurricular math class, and so I get a lot of homework from that, but I do really like doing math, and I've done a few math competitions in the past.
That's awesome.
Math competitions.
You didn't know this? In 5th grade, I did a math competition against 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, and I got first place.
Yeah.
Wait, that is so cool. Can you tell us about what the prep was for that?
So I was in the math Olympiad in 5th grade with a few of my friends, and so every week or so, sometimes a little less, we would go to like a room with our math coach, and she would coach us through. We would do like a set of problems, and once we got closer to the competition, we started doing we would start doing like timers and stuff like that, and like challenge problems that would help us prepare for that. And yeah, it was just a super fun experience.
That's awesome. And it sounds like there was also a really good community, like, in that group. Like, you had some friends, you made some friends.
Yeah, it was really nice because it was like we had a team of 5 people, and we went and we did pretty well in the team competition also. We didn't place, but I think we got a lot of points. And so we all I think we all had passion for it, and we just all really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've talked a lot about what you like doing in school. So tell us what are some of your hobbies outside of school, and extracurriculars do count?
Yeah, well, so you already mentioned I do love theater and singing. I've done 10 performances, and I know of 2 more that I'm going to be doing this year. And I love singing. I take voice lessons. My whole family is very musical. My brother plays the piano very well, and my other brother sings, and we all like performing.
For a second there, I thought you were gonna say, and oh, my other brother doesn't really do anything.
No, my other brother, he plays clarinet, and I play a little cello, but I haven't really kept up with it. And then I also do, I talked about the math. I sometimes do the after-school volleyball club at my school, although it wasn't a super serious thing. And I didn't get to go to the competition because it was sad. Basically, the entire team of 6th graders was boys last year, which was not fun.
Wait, so tell us more about that. Was that like was it separated into boys or girls, or was it supposed to be co-ed and it just ended up all boys being picked?
Well, I mean, I think so. The idea was that it was co-ed, and one of the things I think was we did have a lot of 7th grade girls. There were no other boys, but it ended up being, since they had no other boys, they had to take all the boys from the 6th graders, which meant, unfortunately, for us girls who also wanted to go and I showed up to almost all of the practices. I mean, it wasn't like an official team, but I showed up a lot, and it was just a little bit disappointing for me because I haven't done a lot of sports in the past, and I really liked volleyball. So that was a little sad for me.
Yeah. So wait, so what were you guys getting picked for?
Well, so we did the club for like some of the school year, and then I wasn't quite sure, like I said, since I didn't get chosen, I didn't really find out any more information. But I think it was something like we would compete against the other schools in the district, and they would just have a tournament of some kind.
And so what was the criteria for picking the players who got to go to the tournament?
I mean, I honestly don't know. I think they just kind of took all the kids they could get, except for the 6th graders. They had too many kids, and so they only picked the boys because they didn't have any other boys.
Oh, yeah.
But it's okay,
Yeah. Okay. So, what about some hobbies that you just do like for fun?
So when I'm at home, a lot of the time, I like crocheting a lot. So I will sometimes just sit in my room and listen to music or an audiobook.
Okay, thank you, because we have a lot of haters on audiobooks.
Okay.
And ebooks in this room.
Okay, it's not like the actual book itself, and it's not that I don't like the concept of listening to a book with like headphones. It's just, when you're reading a book, a certain voice in your head is the one reading it, and then when you go to listen to the audiobook of that book, it's like some 80-year-old man reading it, and it's just not how you pictured the book being portrayed.
But like, you get used to it. For like the first 2 chapters of the book, you're like, ugh. But then like you just like kind of, if you listen to it, like I can't do like, I have like 1 audiobook I'm listening to and like 4 books I'm reading, but I can't listen to 2 audiobooks at the same time.
Yeah, I get that.
I can't.
Well, I also listen to music, so it's okay.
Yeah.
It's a balance. And I like reading in general, so it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you said something about crocheting. How long have you been crocheting for?
So I, way back when, like 4 years ago, when was the pandemic?
Like
5 years?
5
years ago?
2019.
Sure, yeah. Around,
So
just anyway, in the pandemic, so I started, we were all stuck at home with nothing to do, and I started doing this thing called Rainbow Loom. You might have heard of it, and I got really into that.
That is so nostalgic for me.
I know, yeah, same. Now it's like, it was so long ago, but I was obsessed with it, and I made bracelets, I made like little animals, it wasn't the most high-tech thing, but I found it fun. And then, I don't exactly remember, honestly. I kind of transformed that Rainbow Loom into crocheting, and I started exploring that world, and I'm kind of self-taught, partly YouTube,
YouTube and Pinterest. I myself crochet, and YouTube and Pinterest have been my best instructors.
Yeah, same.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't really had a human instructor, so don't have a very high bar, but...
No, yeah, because no one in my family crochets, and I, like I said, we're all stuck at home. So, yeah, and I just slowly started doing it, and I realized it was actually a lot better than Rainbow Loom because, one, the materials were a lot more practical, and
they didn't break in like 4 seconds.
Exactly, that's the other thing. It's a lot more durable.
So the Rainbow Loom world kind of led you to crochet.
Yeah, so like I said, I realized crocheting was actually a lot more durable. Like for the Rainbow Loom, the the bands would slowly just decompose and fall apart after a year or so, but the crocheting would stay intact for forever. I mean, that's yarn. It's very good. And I started out, mostly made like stuffies and like little cute animals for a lot of my friends' birthdays and like characters, and just for they were really easy presents that people liked. And then once I got more, and they were also easier. And then when I got more advanced on that, I made a few items of clothing, not many. I've made like a few hats, I think like 2 hats, and I made a shrug and like a cardigan at one point. Yeah, they all turned out pretty good, but they take a while.
I'm making a shrug right now, so I might need some guidance. I just finished my first crochet garment, which was a pair of shorts, just as the weather turned.
Yeah.
So won't be able to wear those for another 12
Wear
months.
them with tights. If you have like black tights.
I don't have
Wear
black
It will
tights.
still be pretty cold though.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know. I'm just like a dancer, so me just like
Yeah.
thinking of my dancer
Are you?
fashion. Like you have like a leotard, and then you have your Nike Pros, and then you have like baggy shorts above it, and that's like a style.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that's
no, it
super
is.
cool. Okay, so I feel like we have a pretty good grasp on who you
that's
are.
me.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Would you like to talk about books?
Yeah.
I mean, books is the main material of this podcast, so we love to have a special guest that is enthusiastic about reading, which Ginger is.
I am. So
I am.
Stop laughing at me.
All
Okay.
right, let's.
Yeah, so I was thinking we could talk about A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson.
Jasmine's going to check her page because this has been a real hit in our friend group lately.
Yeah.
Ginger read it. Yeah, Ginger.
Yeah, I won't.
Ginger read it like a couple years ago, 1 year ago.
I read it at camp this year, so yeah, this pretty recently.
Okay, so you read it a couple months ago. I just finished it a couple days ago, and Oolong, and sorry, not Oolong. Jasmine here is in the middle of reading it right now, so don't worry. This will be a pretty spoiler-free read since Oolong would like to read it and has not read it yet. But it will give you a great idea of, if this book is going to be right for you, if you should read it, and the basic premise and the characters. So, do you want to start us off with just the basic premise of the book?
Yeah, so this book, I don't think they specify where it takes place. I should probably
It's Fairview something.
Fairview, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I-
in Connecticut?
Yeah, probably somewhere. I don't think it's a real place, but
It's not.
like I said, I read this a few months ago,
It
so I'm a
has
little rusty.
Yeah,
but
it has a setting that's kind of like Connecticut, but
yeah.
I started watching the Netflix series and then stopped it because it was like creeping me out. But
The
like,
Netflix series
had-
changes so much.
but they had like British accents.
Yeah, that was another thing that I found slightly strange, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway,
So we
moving
don't
on.
know where it's set, but that's
Moving
okay.
on. It's in a nice, quaint little town. Well, yeah, I think a pretty small town
Yeah,
with like it's not a city.
it's a pretty tight knit community.
yeah,
Urban.
sure, urban.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then it follows a girl named Pip. She is in high school, I think.
She's a senior.
She's a senior, yeah. And because it's her last year at the high school, and she decides to do her senior project, I think.
Yeah,
Capstone.
Her
it's her
capstone
capstone project.
Sorry, I haven't read it in a bit. Her capstone project. And she decides to do it on a mystery that's been haunting the town for a while.
It is a cold case about a girl named Andy Bell who went missing and was assumed dead 5 years ago, and her
She was allegedly murdered by her boyfriend.
Yeah,
and she was
so-
allegedly murdered by her boyfriend,
His name was Sal.
who, and the evidence, it's a cold case, not a cold case, it's just a closed case, because the evidence was pretty crazy, because her boyfriend, a day after she went missing, he was found, dead in the woods, and then he also sent a confession message before he was found dead, saying, "I did it, I'm so sorry,"
to his dad.
to his dad, and there was, evidence of, Andy's blood under his fingers, and there was,
He had fingerprints on her car.
Yeah, so there was a
there
lot
were
of
blood marks.
yeah,
in her
and,
car. So
like,
there, yeah.
they thought it was like a suicide thing because he felt so guilty. So there was a
'Cause
lot.
He was found dead in the woods with
He
in
overdosed
I
on
think the
sleeping pills and then-
autopsy report showed that he had overdosed on sleeping pills, I think.
Yeah, so
His dad's
like
sleeping pills.
so basically they just closed the case because it was like, okay, he had a relationship to Andy Bell. Evidence of Andy Bell's like blood
They
was
were
found
also
under his
evidence was
finger.
pretty
They were also
clear.
seen arguing. Like
Like
a
Yeah.
day
yeah,
before
they
she
were
was
seen
murdered.
arguing the day before. He had a relationship with her. Her blood was under his fingernails. There was like evidence in the car. He had her phone on him when they found him, and he sent a confession text. So it was
so
like
all of this
closed
adds up
case.
to closed case, and the police closed it. But meanwhile, now this is 5 years later.
Yeah, 5 years.
And Pip decides for a
Oh,
capstone
also
project.
Andy's body was never found.
Yeah, sorry, that's important. So Pip decides for her, and it's assumed that he buried her, Sal.
Yeah.
So Pip decides for a capstone project to do a little research on this, and she's not expecting it to actually go anywhere, but she wants to at least make it so there's some reasonable doubt that Sal did it.
Because Sal was a really nice person aside from
She
that.
knew him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he was really nice to her and helped her out a lot.
You would never think he was the kind of person to do this. And just to add to the evidence that he did do it, he was hanging out with his friends that night, and it was his 5 friends. So it was Naomi, Max Hastings, a couple others. And it was basically, they were all hanging out that night when Andy Bell went missing. And he reported that he left.
Also, by the way, don't
yes.
worry, we're gonna do no spoilers
Yeah.
here, so we're just gonna do a
yeah.
quick overview
He
of the beginning.
reported that he left his friend's house at about 12:15 and got home at about 12:50 p.m., which means that he could not have committed the murder. Like, that was his alibi. He was with his friends the allotted time that Andy Bell went missing.
But then, mysteriously, in the next week, sometime, all his friends decide to confess that
They committed false evidence.
They had committed false evidence, and his alibi was fake, and he had asked them to. And their excuse for doing it for him was that Sal had asked them to do it just so, because he really wanted them to stay focused on, so they could catch the real killer without focusing on trying to get confused with everyone
Yeah.
else, since he might be a suspect.
So, friends called in, said, "Hey, false evidence. He actually left around 10:30 p.m., and he got home, and then his dad was like, yeah, he got home at 12:50 p.m. So it gave him time to commit the murder, and then the thing happened the next day, and there was an overwhelming amount of evidence. So everyone in the town viewed him as a monster. Case closed. Never found Andy's body. There was no memorial because it was like, oh, he was the killer. And it was kind of just case closed. But basically, Pip is trying to reopen the case because he was a really nice person, and it's really hard to believe that he actually did it, even though the evidence was pretty overwhelming.
So now we're not going to go too much farther into the story because we don't want to spoil it for anyone, but the basis is that she goes around the town and asks all her friends, all the people who knew Sal, and it starts out as a mystery for a capstone project, but then it continues on and becomes a much bigger thing, and it gets a lot more dangerous, and it involves stalkers, and she finds out a lot of different things about people that she thought she knew well, and she actually ends up working together with Sal's brother Robbie to also help, because he also, like her, does not believe that Sal could have done it, and they go through this whole adventure of trying to figure out and solve this mystery.
Yeah. And just a little no, it's very fast paced, very exciting. I read it within probably less than a week, probably a couple of days.
But Earl Grey is a very fast reader, so
I still take in the material.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's really fast paced. So what we usually do with books is we do a rating for like overall just how good the book was out of 10, and then we do 1 to 10 with stuff like content, as in like, so we do language rating, we do romance rating, or like a spice rating. We do like a, what are the other ratings we do? Violence rating. We do like a scariness rating, and then we do like a recommended age to read, or like how to find this might be the right one for you.
Or just like who we recommend it to in general.
So we are now going to do our ratings. So overall, how good was the book from 1 to 10? Personally, for me, I would give this book a solid 8.5. I think it was a really great book. I really liked it. I thought the plot twists was its greatest strength, and probably its greatest weakness was probably just like there was so many side plots happening with like other people of interest in the plot that it was kind of a little bit hard to like keep track of who was who, especially when it was like they did an interview with one of the like possible people, and then like they came back to it like 50 pages later when it was like proved to be insignificant, but that it was just, maybe I was just slow, but I had to really think about the plot. But I think its greatest strength was like the twists and turns. So I would give it an 8.5. What about you, Ginger?
So this is the overall rating?
Yes, just like how good the book was.
Yeah, so I would give it, I would give it probably an 8 or an 8.5 also. I was really interesting, and I really like murder mystery books like this, and this was kind of my perfect category. It had a little bit of everything, adventure, excitement, but also, I felt like I could a little connect with the characters.
Yeah.
And my favorite part about it, also like you, definitely, it was really fun to like, the mystery was really good, and like there were so many plot twists, and like at the end when I figured out the mystery, there was still like, it was so delving, it had a lot of really interesting and engaging plot points that, I don't know, I found it very interesting, although it was a little confusing at some parts.
Yeah. And Jasmine, would you like to rate it? Jasmine is about, how many pages are you in?
Like 200.
Okay, so Jasmine's about 2/3 of the way through this book. How would you rate it so far?
It's good. I give it like an 8. Yeah.
Because I know you weren't so sure about it a couple of days ago when you were at page like 100.
At page 100, it's just like it starts up, and it's just a lot dumped on you, but then it like evens out.
That.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now we're gonna do ratings for content. So we're gonna start with the language rating. This is just in terms of like swears and stuff. So one is like not at all. 10 is like every other word.
I would give it like a 5. So there was a few. There's an amount of swears and not
I'd say like 7.
appropriate language, but yeah, maybe 6. But but
No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do 6, 7.
No brain rot.
Yeah. I think it's like there wasn't swears like very consistently, but when there
There were
was,
some.
there were definitely like they did use like
Few.
Yeah.
There are a few characters that swear a lot.
yeah, like there were
They're not too bad.
like there were a couple of B words, there were a couple A words, and there was like 1 or 2 F words, but it's not very consistent in the plot. But like if you're sensitive to that, I definitely would give it a higher rating just in terms of like the intensity of them. Maybe, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, like for me, I noticed the swears obviously, but they didn't super impact like the plot point. I feel like in a way that made it like uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
But then again, in
Yeah,
middle
it's
school,
whatever you're comfortable
Yeah,
with.
whatever, exactly.
Okay.
Like it depends on your.
Next we are going to go to romance. I would give it like a. Okay, romance is not in terms of like are there any relationships, just as like what kind of content do they talk about?
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna give this one a
so 10 is like more inappropriate. And
Okay. What would you give this in terms of spice?
so I like I said, I haven't read it in a little bit, but I would give it like a 5, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a 6.
I would say it's like a 6 or a 5 because there's no like it never gets super intense. There's never like a scene described of like two characters making out or anything, but there's like implied stuff that relates to the mystery.
Yeah, and like there's one part where there's part of the plot, there's a relationship between two people. I'm not going to go further into it just for not spoiling
Spoilers.
things, but they do, like, at one point there's a shown picture of someone with their shirt off,
Not
girl.
not in the book.
Not in,
it's
it's,
just, like,
not shown.
It's
Yeah,
but
it's
described.
it's
just
not
like
described
says-
deeply.
there's,
It
like,
just
a
says
picture.
It
there's
just
a
says, like,
picture with
It's
a
part of the
girl with
mystery. It's
her
like
shirt off.
it's part of the mystery because like she like finds it in one of the suspects' rooms and
yeah.
it's like, oh,
So
you
it's just
like
part of the mystery.
it's not described at all. It's not like that. It's just like
so it's not
yeah,
too bad.
it's not bad. It's just
kind
like
of
it's just like,
describes it.
oh, you knew this girl. Were you in a relationship with her?
and it's just
like,
it
like
just
could
gives you a
be,
sense of the story.
Yeah,
and the
it just
character.
it just gives you like a little bit of a plot twist because it's like, oh, there's like like you say you don't have a relationship with her, but you obviously do.
Yeah.
So it's more in like a relating to the mystery sense, not in like a very like spicy
Yeah,
sense.
and it gets you, like, helps you get to know a little bit more about what the character is.
I think there's like there's implying of like making out and stuff. There's like definitely like scenes where the characters like, oh my gosh, like everyone's making out at this like house party or something.
There's a few parties where people are making out, but they don't describe it.
Yeah, they're not like they never go really in depth with anything so far. So I'd say like a 5 or a 6. Whatever you're
Yeah.
comfortable with though. Like if you're not comfortable with like implied stuff, like they never describe anything, but it's like
Yeah,
it kinda-
it's
there's
pretty
like
mild.
yeah, it's pretty mild. There's just like 1 or 2 times where like, with the photo and stuff, it's just like helps you get to the core of the mystery rather than like it's an actual like romance development or anything.
But if you've heard us talking about it now, it's no different than that.
Yeah. But okay. But yeah, and then in terms of we're just gonna do like a substance thing because like I know we don't usually rate that, but I would give it a 5 for this, a 5 or a 6 for this book.
I would give it like a 8.
I would give it a 7.
I would okay.
There's
Let's do
there's a
7.
fair
6
amount
or
of-
7.
Let's do 7 because in this book like there is like it's kind of like related. There is a plot twist. There is a plot twist.
substance
Yeah.
abuse.
There is a plot twist where you find out like someone was like selling like
Yeah,
drugs and
a-
it like helps to the like plot.
A key point of the plot is that I'm not going to delve into this, but there's some sort of illegal drug dealing that's happening
Like at like the
at the school, or like
like
with
at the school that like kind of goes into the mystery and stuff.
Yeah.
So
and
it
there's
it-
one scene where they're like smoking. But
Yeah, there's one scene where they're smoking, but so it's definitely like there is some description that again kind of it's not really there just because it's there, but it's there to like help you get into the mystery, and it's definitely not portrayed like none of the language, none of the like spice, and none of the drug is portrayed in a positive sense.
yeah, no, it's definitely
There's no like
none of it's
promoting.
encouraged.
Yeah, it's all like oh, like this person was at the school with like these drugs, like could they be a suspect kind of thing. So
It's not in any way encouraging.
yeah,
drugs.
it's stuff, and it doesn't really go that deep into it. It's just like kind
It's
of
just,
part
like,
of the plot.
Pretty relevant for like the book.
But
yeah.
it is there,
It is there, yeah.
It is mentioned.
But okay, and then for overall like age rating, it really depends what you're sensitive to with this book. I would give it a 12 or 13 plus.
Yeah, I'd say 13 plus.
I think you need
I
to
would
be
give it a 13 plus also.
you would need to be like a relatively mature reader, but it's nothing insane,
Yeah, like
It's not like wait until high school.
Yeah, no, definitely
and
not.
people always read things slightly earlier than the ratings say, I feel like. But
Yeah.
so I would suggest if you're like in your most comfortable stage, I would wait till 13. But if you've are okay with reading
If
books
you're
that
yeah,
are
there's
like
there's definitely violence. We forgot
there
to
is
do
some
that.
there is some
There's
violence.
not a ton of violence, but
But
there
there
is
is, like,
like
ones
it's a
of
murder
scenes.
mystery, so like
So there has
I
to be
would
some
give the violence like a 6 or something, but
No,
it
we
really
give it, like, a
depends.
7.
A 7? Okay. It depends what you're comfortable with, you know? So I think for just like a general, I would say like 12 or 13 plus.
Yeah.
But you know yourself best, so you know what will be good for you. But yeah, thank you so much. I think we're going to wrap the episode up, but thank you
Yeah.
so much, Ginger, for being our special guest.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
It was amazing. All right. 3, 2, 1. Bye.
Bye.